What if I told you that everything you think you know about how reality works is a carefully constructed lie? A lie designed to keep you small, searching, and forever waiting for your turn. What if the luck you see in other people's lives isn't random at all, but the result of a precise, cheat code level understanding of a hidden system, a system that runs silently beneath the surface of our everyday world? This audiobook is not about positive thinking. It is not about vision boards. This is the operating manual for reality itself that you were never meant to see. And what you are about to hear is the ultimate guide. A complete synthesis of secrets you will not find anywhere else. In any single book, from any single teacher, we are about to go deep, dangerously deep into the true mechanics of instant manifestation. We will explore the raw, spiritual electricity of Kundalini awakening, what it really is, and why it's the ultimate power source for creators. We will crack the code of synchronicity and turn it from a mysterious coincidence into a reliable, daily navigation system. We will dismantle the myth of divine timing and show you how to step into the version of your life where your desires are already fulfilled. I will show you how to speak the language the universe uses when it decides to stop whispering and start shouting your name. This knowledge has been guarded, fragmented, and hidden in plain sight for centuries. They call it luck. They call it a blessing. They call it a coincidence. The truth is, it's a system. And once to learn it, you can't ever unsee it. You will look at your past struggles and finally understand why. You will look at the lucky people and see the exact patterns they are running. This is not for the faint of heart. This is for those who are ready to remember who they truly are. This is for those who are ready to stop waiting and start creating. Before we cross this threshold together, I want you to do one thing. In the comments below, I want you to speak your existence into this field of co-creators. Tell us just two things: the city you're listening from, and one word that describes the reality you are now choosing to create. If you're ready to learn the secrets they shouldn't be teaching you, then let's begin. There is a man, right now, who is walking down a busy city street. The noise is a cacophony, a symphony of chaos. Horns blare, people chatter, and the world moves at a frantic, disconnected pace. He is just one man among millions, feeling the weight of his own separate life, his own unique struggles. But then, something happens. A thought, clear as a bell, rings in his mind. A face he has not seen in years appears in his imagination with startling clarity. And at that exact moment, as he looks up, a stranger walking past him is wearing a t-shirt with that person's name on it. The city's noise fades into a distant hum. This was not a coincidence. This was a conversation. This is where your old reality ends and your new one begins. You have felt it, haven't you? That subtle tug on the thread of your awareness. A song that answers a question you only just asked in the quiet of your own mind. A book that falls off a shelf and opens to the precise paragraph you needed to read. A chance meeting that alters the entire trajectory of your life. You have likely been taught to dismiss these moments as flukes, as happy accidents, as random strokes of luck. But what if you have been misled? What if these are not exceptions to the rules of reality, but rather profound evidence of a much deeper, much more magical set of rules altogether? This book is for you, the one who has always suspected there was more. You are not here by accident. The fact that you are listening to this now is, itself, a form of synchronicity. You have been called to understand the mechanics of the miraculous. You are being invited to learn the language the universe uses when it decides to stop whispering and start speaking directly to you. For centuries, this knowledge has been fragmented. Pieces of it were guarded in mystical traditions, hinted at in philosophical texts, and experienced in fleeting moments by people who could never quite explain how they did it. They were called lucky, blessed, or gifted. But the truth is far more democratic and far more profound. The ability to cheat reality, to bend the timeline of your desires, to live in a constant, flowing dance with the divine, is your birthright. It is the natural state of a human being who has remembered who they truly are. We are about to embark on a journey into the heart of this mystery. We will explore the spiritual electricity of Kundalini awakening, not as a frightening esoteric concept, but as the palpable rising of your own creative power. We will decipher the code of synchronicity, transforming it from a mysterious occurrence into a reliable navigation system. We will dismantle the illusion of delayed timing and introduce you to the state of being where divine timing is now. We will move beyond the basic principles of the law of attraction and into the advanced practice of instantaneous manifestation, where the line between thought and thing becomes beautifully, astonishingly blurred. This is not about positive thinking. This is about paradigm shifting. This is about changing the fundamental lens through which you perceive yourself and your relationship with the cosmos. The lucky person, the instant manifester, is not cheating in the way the world thinks of cheating. They are not breaking the rules. They have simply learned to play a completely different game. And by the end of this journey, you will know this game intimately. You will have the map, the compass, and the innate permission to step onto the field and play. So, take a deep breath. Prepare to remember, your reality has been waiting for you to finally show up and take the helm. Chapter 1. The Lucky Person's Code. It's not what you think. What if everything you believed about luck was a lie? What if the lucky person, the one who seems to win the raffles, stumble upon the perfect opportunities and have things just work out for them, is not the beneficiary of random chance, but the master of a hidden code? There is a man, let us call him James, who believed he was chronically unlucky. He would watch others succeed and mutter under his breath about their good fortune. He lived in a world of missed buses, rained-out picnics, and last-minute cancellations. His reality was a self-fulfilling prophecy of lack. Then, one day, a simple yet radical thought occurred to him. What if he decided, from that moment forward, that he was the luckiest person he knew? Not because of any evidence, but as a declaration. He started his experiment. He began to expect things to go his way. He walked into rooms assuming people would be happy to see him. He applied for jobs believing he was the perfect candidate. At first, it felt like a lie. But then, a strange alchemy began to take place. His posture changed. His smile became more genuine. He started to notice opportunities he had previously been blind to. The lucky person has, either through conscious choice or innocent upbringing, adopted a state of being that is fundamentally open, receptive, and expectant of good. They are not waiting for external proof to feel lucky. They feel lucky, and the external proof materializes to match their inner conviction. This is the great secret that the rational mind struggles to accept. The world out there is a feedback mechanism for the world in here. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and think about your own life. Where have you been assuming you are unlucky? In love? In finances? In your health? I want you to see this not as a truth, but as a setting on the dial of your personal reality transmitter. And just like any setting, it can be changed. The moment you decide to change it, you have taken your first conscious step into the ranks of the lucky. You have begun to cheat the reality of cause and effect as the world understands it. You are now operating on the principle of cause and effect from the inside out. Your inner state is the cause. The outer world is the effect. This is the bedrock. This is the foundation upon which every other miracle is built. When you truly grasp this, you will understand that luck is not something that happens to you. It is something you broadcast. And from this day forward, you are choosing to broadcast a signal of undeniable, unshakable fortune. But let us go deeper, for this code has more complex layers. This state of being is not a mere mask of optimism you wear. It is a fundamental recalibration of your relationship with uncertainty. The unlucky person sees uncertainty as a threat, a void filled with potential danger and loss. They contract in the face of it. They try to control, to manipulate, to secure themselves against the unknown. This very act of contraction, this energy of fear, blinds them to the opportunities that uncertainty also contains. The lucky person, however, has a different relationship with the unknown. They see it as a field of pure potential, a fertile ground where anything can happen, including miracles. They approach it with an open hand, not a clenched fist. They understand that for the new, the miraculous, the unexpected good to enter their life, there must be an open space for it to land. Their expectation of good is not a naive hope, but a sophisticated understanding of probability. When you are open and expectant, you are effectively increasing your surface area for luck to strike. You are turning your entire being into a lightning rod for serendipity. Consider a simple yet profound scientific parallel. The observer effect in quantum physics. At the subatomic level, particles exist in a state of probability waves, potentialities, rather than fixed things. It is the act of observation, the attention of the observer, that collapses this wave function into a definite particle in a definite location. Now, translate this to your human experience. Your reality is a vast, swirling field of probabilities. Your dominant state of being, your focused attention, your core beliefs, your emotional frequency is the observer. It is what collapses the wave function of potential events into your definite, lived experience. The lucky person, by holding the state of being of "I am lucky," is simply collapsing the probability wave in the direction of fortunate outcomes. They are not attracting luck from the outside. They are selecting the lucky timeline from the infinite array of possible timelines that exist in the quantum field of the present moment. This is not mystical speculation. It is a model that aligns with the most cutting-edge understanding of our universe. You are, in every moment, the conscious observer collapsing your reality into existence. The question is, are you doing it by default, through unconscious fears and inherited beliefs, or are you doing it by design, with the deliberate intent of the lucky? This is the choice that stands before you now. This is the first and most profound code you must crack, and you have just cracked it. Now, let us address the most common objection that arises at this point. But what about all the times I've been genuinely unlucky? No. The real tragedies, the unforeseen disasters, the events that were truly out of my control? This is a vital question, and it leads us to the second layer of the code. The lucky person does not deny the existence of challenging events. They do not live in a state of delusional positivity. Instead, they have mastered the art of perceptual reframing. They understand that while they may not control every event, they absolutely control the meaning they assign to it. And the meaning they assign determines the ultimate outcome and the trajectory of their future. An unlucky person sees a job loss as a catastrophe, a confirmation of their inadequacy, a devastating blow from which it will be hard to recover. A lucky person, faced with the same event, will feel the initial shock and fear, but will then quickly search for the hidden opportunity. They will see it as a forced redirection, a necessary nudge from the universe to leave a stagnant situation and move towards something far more aligned with their true purpose. They will ask, "What is this trying to show me? Where is the gift here?" And because they look for the gift, they inevitably find it. This is not Pollyanna-ish nonsense. It is the practical application of a profound spiritual law. What you focus on expands. By focusing on the potential for good, even in the midst of challenge, you activate that potential and draw it into your experience. The lucky person, therefore, is not someone to whom bad things never happen. They are someone who has become an alchemist of experience, turning every event, no matter how initially painful, into fuel for their eventual good. This is the ultimate power. This is the deepest level of the code. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the author of meaning, and the author of meaning is, in the end, the creator of their destiny. To integrate this code into the very fabric of your being, you must begin a daily practice of mental and emotional hygiene. Your mind is a garden. The state of unlucky is a weed that has been allowed to grow unchecked for years. You cannot simply wish the weeds away. You must diligently plant new, more powerful seeds and tend to them every single day. This means starting your morning not by checking the news, which is often a barrage of fear and negativity, but by setting your inner state. Before you even get out of bed, spend 5 minutes feeling what it feels like to be the luckiest person alive. Generate the emotion of gratitude for the day that is to come, as if all your desires are already fulfilled. Feel the excitement, the wonder, the anticipation of good. This act sets your inner frequency for the entire day. Throughout the day, practice assuming the wish fulfilled. If you desire a loving relationship, do not walk through the world feeling lonely. Walk through the world feeling the love and companionship you desire as if it is already yours. Feel the satisfaction, the security, the joy. This is not about pretending. It is about becoming a vibrational match to your desire. And at the end of the day, practice a review of only the positive synchronicities and fortunate events. Write them down in a luck journal. This trains your brain to notice and expect more of the same. This consistent, daily practice is what rewires your subconscious mind, which is the true engine of your reality. It is the reprogramming of your internal software. It is how you install the lucky person's code, not as a temporary hack, but as your permanent, default operating system. This is the work. This is the discipline of the Master Manifester, and it is available to you, starting now. Chapter 2. The universe is talking. Are you finally ready to listen? The universe is not silent. It is a vibrant, conscious, and communicative field of intelligence. It is constantly speaking to you, sending you messages, guiding you, and offering you the next step on your path. The problem for most people is not that the universe is mute. It is that they have forgotten how to hear. They are like a radio that is tuned to the wrong frequency, receiving only static, while a beautiful symphony is playing just a click away. The instant manifester, the one who seems to cheat reality, has simply learned to fine-tune their dial. They have remembered the native language of the cosmos. It is a language not of words, but of symbols, of feelings, of whispers, and of what the world calls coincidences. These are not coincidences. These are synchronicities. They are the universe's way of winking at you, of giving you a thumbs up, of placing a signpost in the road just when you were beginning to feel lost. Consider the story of a woman named Sarah. She was at a crossroads in her career, feeling utterly directionless. One morning, in a state of despair, she asked the universe, out loud, for a clear sign. Show me my next step. She then went about her day, trying to forget her plea. Later that afternoon, she decided to visit a museum to clear her head. As she wandered through the exhibits, a particular painting caught her eye. It was a depiction of an ancient ship navigating by the stars. The ship's navigator was looking up at a specific constellation. For a reason she could not explain, she was drawn to that constellation. She took a picture of the painting. That evening, while scrolling through a job website she had checked 100 times before, a new listing appeared. The logo for the company was the same constellation from the painting. Her entire body tingled with recognition. This was not a coincidence. This was a direct, unambiguous response to her question. She applied for the job with a certainty she had never felt before, and she got it. This is the level of conversation that is available to you. But you must be willing to engage. You must be willing to ask the questions, and, more importantly, you must be willing to trust the answers when they come. The answers rarely come in the form you expect. They come through a song on the radio, a snippet of conversation overheard in a coffee shop, a recurring number pattern on a clock, or a dream that feels more real than waking life. The universe is creative, playful, and infinitely resourceful in its methods of communication. Your job is to become a master of recognition. Your job is to cultivate a state of receptive awareness. From this moment forward, I want you to make a pact with yourself. Decide that you are in a constant, flowing dialogue with a friendly, supportive universe. Ask for signs, ask for guidance, and then let go. Go about your day with the quiet, excited expectation of a child on a treasure hunt. Watch for the patterns, listen for the whispers, feel for the gentle nudges. When you see a repetition, when you feel that inner jolt of recognition, trust it. Act on it. This is how you begin to dance with the divine. This is how you allow reality to conspire in your favor. To truly master this, however, we must understand the mechanics behind this communication. Think of the universe as a vast, interconnected neural network, a cosmic mind. Your own consciousness is a node within this network. When you send out a sincere question, a heartfelt desire, or a deep intention, it is like typing a query into this cosmic search engine. You have activated the network. The universe, being intelligent, then begins to assemble the relevant data and deliver it to you in a format you can understand. It uses the material of your everyday life images, sounds, people, situations as its delivery mechanism. The synchronicity is the search result appearing on your screen. But why does it often use symbols? Because symbols are the native language of the subconscious mind and of the deeper, non-physical dimensions of reality. A symbol carries a volume of information that would take thousands of words to explain. That constellation for Sarah was not just a pattern of stars. It was a symbol of navigation, of ancient wisdom, of finding one's way by a higher light. The universe delivered a complete package of meaning in a single, elegant image. Now, there is a prerequisite for this dialogue to flow clearly. The channel must be clear. If your inner world is dominated by static, the constant noise of worry, the chatter of a critical mind, the low-grade hum of anxiety, then the signal from the universe will be drowned out. This is why practices like meditation, mindfulness, and spending time in nature are not just spiritual luxuries. They are essential maintenance for your receiver. They quiet the internal noise, allowing you to perceive the subtle, yet powerful, signal of synchronicity. Think of it this way. You would not try to listen for a whisper in the middle of a rock concert. You would first seek a quiet place. Your mind is that place. You must cultivate the inner quiet necessary to hear the universe whispering your name. It is in this silence that the most profound guidance is received. It is in this stillness that you realize you are not a separate entity shouting into a void, but an integral part of a cosmic conversation that has been ongoing since the beginning of time. You are now choosing to consciously participate, and the universe is thrilled that you have finally picked up the line. Let us now explore the different dialects of this universal language. The first and most common is the dialect of repetition. This is when you see the same number sequence repeatedly, 1111 on the clock. A $11.11 receipt. A flight number 1, 1, 1, 1. Or you keep hearing the same word, seeing the same animal, or meeting people with the same name. Repetition is the universe's way of saying, pay attention. This is important. This is a key. The second dialect is the dialect of resonance. This is that gut feeling, that intuitive knowing, that visceral pull toward or away from something. It is a feeling in your body, not a thought in your head. When you meet someone and feel an immediate, unexplainable sense of trust and familiarity, that is resonance. When you read a book and a particular sentence seems to glow with meaning just for you, that is resonance. The third dialect is the dialect of obstruction. This is when things don't work out. The flight is canceled. The deal falls through. The path is blocked. The unlucky person sees this as a failure. The master manifester sees it as redirection. The universe is closing a door because it is leading you to a better one. It is protecting you from a path that is not in your highest good. Learning to thank the universe for the closed doors is a sign of advanced understanding. The fourth dialect is the dialect of dreams. In the dream state, your conscious mind is offline, and you have direct access to the symbolic language of the subconscious and the collective unconscious. Pay attention to your dreams, especially the ones that feel vivid and emotionally charged. Keep a dream journal. The universe often delivers its most profound messages in the theater of the night. To become fluent in this language, you must become an active participant. This is not a passive observation. It is a dynamic, interactive relationship. Here is your practical curriculum. First, ask clear questions. Be specific in your requests for guidance. Universe, should I take the job in Chicago or stay in New York? Show me a sign for Chicago as a blue bird and for New York as a red umbrella. Then, let it go. Second, practice deep listening. Spend at least 10 minutes a day in silent meditation, not to empty your mind, but to listen to the subtle impressions, images, and feelings that arise. Third, keep a synchronicity log. Document every sign, every coincidence, every meaningful dream. Over time, you will see patterns and learn the unique vocabulary the universe uses to communicate with you personally. Fourth, and most importantly, act on the guidance you receive. If you get a nudge to call someone, call them. If you feel pulled to go to a certain place, go. This is how you build trust with the universe. When you demonstrate that you are listening, it will speak to you more and more. This dialogue will become the most reliable guiding force in your life. You will never feel alone or lost again. You will be in constant communion with the intelligence that designed the galaxies, and it will guide your every step with a love and precision that surpasses all human understanding. This is your inheritance. This conversation is for you. Chapter 3. The Myth of Hard Work. Why effortlessness is your greatest power. We have been sold a story that has been passed down for generations, carved into the very bedrock of our culture. The story says that to achieve anything of value, you must struggle, you must grind, you must push, force, and strive against the current. Blood, sweat, and tears are the price of admission to a good life. This narrative is so deeply ingrained that to question it feels like heresy, like advocating for laziness or moral decay. But what if this story, while well-intentioned, is one of the most insidious and limiting lies ever told? What if the very act of straining and striving is what actually pushes your desires further away, creating a reality of resistance where ease should naturally reside? Think of a farmer. He does not go into his field at dawn and tug violently on his seedlings, screaming at them to grow faster. He does not force the crops. He creates the conditions for growth. He tills the soil. He plants the seeds. He provides water and sunlight. And then he trusts. He allows the innate, intelligent life force within nature to do its work. The instant manifester understands this principle at a cosmic level. They are not a pusher. They are a planter. They are not a grinder. They are a cultivator. Their primary power is not force, but alignment. There is a fundamental force in the universe, a current that moves all things toward their natural state of expansion and expression. You can call it life force, chi, prana, or the divine will. This current is intelligent and benevolent. It is the same energy that spins galaxies, that pushes roots through soil, that guides a bird on its migration. When you are aligned with it, when your personal desires are in harmony with this cosmic flow, things feel easy. Doors open that you did not even know existed. Resources appear as if from nowhere. People show up to help at the perfect moment. This is what is often called being in the zone or in the flow. It is a state of grace where your actions are both effortless and profoundly effective. When you are misaligned, when you are pushing against this current with your own limited willpower and a mindset of lack, everything feels difficult. It is a constant, soul-crushing uphill battle. You are met with resistance at every turn. The universe is not punishing you. It is simply showing you, through the undeniable feedback of friction, that you are rowing your boat in the wrong direction. The lucky person has learned to put down the oars and raise the sail. They set their intention, their destination, and then they allow the wind of the universe to carry them there. They understand that their job is not to create the wind, but to sense its direction and adjust their sails accordingly. Let us be very clear, for this is a point often misunderstood. This is not an endorsement of laziness, passivity, or a refusal to take action. Aligned action is required, and it is often vigorous and focused. But there is a world of difference between aligned action and forced effort. Aligned action feels inspired. It comes from a place of excitement, certainty, and deep inner knowing. It is the action you are compelled to take from a state of fulfillment, not the action you think you should take from a state of lack. It is proactive, not reactive. It feels like a joyful expression of who you are. Forced effort, on the other hand, feels heavy, draining, and rooted in fear. It is the action of I have to rather than I get to. It is fueled by the anxiety of not having, not being, not measuring up. It is the energy of pushing a boulder up a hill, only to have it roll back down again. I want you to take an honest, courageous inventory of your life right now. Where are you striving? Where are you forcing an outcome in your relationships, your career, your health? Where are you trying to make something happen through sheer grit and willpower, feeling exhausted and resentful in the process? Now, I want you to consider the radical, almost terrifying alternative. What if you stopped? What if you relaxed your grip? What if you focused all your energy not on the frantic action, but on the inner alignment? Get into the feeling place of your desire already being fulfilled. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the peace, the security of it. Saturate your every cell with this vibration. From that elevated state, the actions you need to take will become obvious, and more importantly, they will feel effortless. You will be guided, step by step, not by your frantic, calculating mind, but by the intelligent, benevolent current of the universe itself. This is the great cheat. You achieve more by doing less. When the doing is born from a state of being that is in harmony with all that is, the resistance to this idea is often fierce and immediate. The ego, the part of you that believes in separation, control, and a universe of scarcity, revolts at the notion of surrender. It has built its entire identity on the concept of struggle. It equates ease with worthlessness. It believes, at a core level, that if something comes easily, it cannot be valuable or meaningful. No pain, no gain, it shouts. This is a core wound of our modern culture, a perversion of the sacred. But let me ask you this. Does the rose struggle to bloom? Does the sun struggle to rise? Does the galaxy struggle to spin? They perform their magnificent, life-sustaining functions with flawless, effortless grace, because they are in perfect alignment with their nature and with the cosmic laws that govern them. You are no different. You are a child of the universe, made of the same star stuff, animated by the same intelligent force. Your struggle is not a measure of your commitment or your value. It is a measure of your misalignment. The feeling of effort is a red flag, a divine indicator that you have strayed from your natural path and are trying to impose your limited personal will upon the infinite organizing power of the whole. So, How does one practically cultivate this effortlessness? It begins with a dedicated practice of deep self-inquiry and somatic awareness. Before you embark on any significant action, learn to pause. Place your hand on your heart. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, does this path feel light? Does this decision feel expansive? Does this action feel like a joyful, authentic expression of who I am? Or does it feel like a heavy, constricting obligation? Learn to trust the feeling in your body, not the reasoning in your head. The body, your animal instinct, never lies. It is your direct connection to the truth of the present moment. A constricted gut, a tight chest, a feeling of dread or anxiety. These are all somatic signals of misalignment. A feeling of openness, a light heart, a sense of curiosity, excitement, and forward momentum. These are the signals of alignment. Your body is your built-in, unfailing compass for navigating the river of universal flow. The next step is to become a master of inspiration, not motivation. Motivation is often external. You are motivated by a reward or the fear of a punishment. Inspiration is internal. It is a pull from your soul, a sudden download of creative impulse that feels like a divine command. The instant manifester learns to wait for inspiration. They do not waste their energy on motivated action that goes against the current. They conserve their power. They stay in the state of grateful expectation, and when the lightning bolt of inspiration strikes, they act swiftly, decisively, and joyfully. This action is then empowered by the universe itself. It is like catching a wave. The surfer doesn't create the wave. He simply positions himself and allows the ocean's immense power to carry him. Your inspired actions are like catching a cosmic wave. Furthermore, practice the art of non-attachment to outcomes. This is not the same as not caring. It means doing your part, the aligned, inspired action, and then releasing the how and the when to the universe. You hold the vision of the destination with unwavering faith, but you surrender the specific route. This surrender is an active, intelligent trust, not a passive resignation. It is the understanding that the universe has a perspective and a capacity for orchestration that far exceeds your own limited vision. When you are attached to a specific outcome, you are effectively telling the universe, I know the one and only way this can happen. This closes you off to the million other, more elegant and miraculous ways it could manifest. The lucky person holds their desire lightly, like a bird in their hand. If they clutch it too tightly, they will crush it. If they hold it with an open palm, it may fly away, but it may also choose to stay, and it will certainly be able to breathe. This open-handed approach allows for magic. It allows for solutions and opportunities that are far better than anything your striving mind could have concocted. This path of effortlessness is a reorientation of your entire life. It is a move from being a human doing to a human being. It is the ultimate rebellion against a culture of burnout and the ultimate expression of self-love. It is how you step into your birthright as a co-creator. You are not here to struggle and suffer. You are here to allow the universe to express its boundless creativity, joy, and abundance through you. The work is not to work harder, but to yield smarter. To get your small, separate self out of the way and let the grand, connected self flow through you. From this day forward, make ease your benchmark. Make joy your compass. Make alignment your only goal. And watch as the universe, relieved that you have finally stopped struggling, rushes in to do the heavy lifting for you. This is the secret of those who make manifestation look like luck. They have learned that the greatest power is not in the push, but in the allowing. Chapter 4. The Spiritual Awakening Trigger. When your reality cracks open. There comes a moment in the journey of some people's lives when the veil is torn. It is not a gentle parting of curtains, but a violent, irreversible rending of the fabric of consensual reality. This is a spiritual awakening. It is a moment of profound and catastrophic disruption to the status quo of the ego. The carefully constructed personality, the story of who you thought you were, the solid ground of your beliefs, all of it suddenly cracks open, revealing a vast, terrifying, and magnificent void beneath your feet. This is not always a gentle or sought-after process. For many, it feels like a thunderclap in the center of the soul, an earthquake that levels the city of the self. It can be triggered by a profound loss, the death of a loved one, the end of a relationship, a terminal diagnosis. It can be catalyzed by a near-death experience, where one touches the infinite and can never again see the finite world in the same way. Or sometimes, most mysteriously, it arrives for no apparent reason at all, like a spontaneous evolutionary impulse from the cosmos itself. A upgrade in consciousness delivered, whether you ordered it or not. Everything you believe to be true is called into question. The world may seem dreamlike, insubstantial. You may feel a deep, aching sense of homesickness for a home you cannot name, a piercing nostalgia for a state of being you have never consciously known. This is not a breakdown, though it may feel like one from the inside, and certainly look like one from the outside. This is a breakthrough. It is the universe's most direct, uncompromising method of getting your attention, of shocking you out of the slumber of ordinary consciousness and into the raw, awake state of what you truly are. A man named Michael was driving home from work one utterly ordinary evening, trapped in the usual loop of his thoughts, worrying about bills, deadlines, and the mundane problems of his life. He was, by all accounts, asleep at the wheel of his own existence. Suddenly, for no reason his rational mind could ever ascertain, a wave of overwhelming love and crystal-clear clarity washed over him. It did not feel like an emotion. It felt like a truth. The traffic, the noise, his worries, all of it fell away, not as a distraction, but as if they had never been fundamentally real in the first place. He saw, with an absolute, non-negotiable certainty, that he was not the person in the car, with the name, and the history, and the problems. He was the awareness, witnessing the person in the car. He was the vast, silent, loving space in which the entire world, the car, the road, the other drivers, the city was appearing. The experience lasted only a few minutes, but it shattered his entire worldview like a hammer through glass. He could never go back to seeing himself as a small, separate self, struggling against a big, scary, external world. He had remembered his true nature as the context of all experience, not just a character within it. His journey of instant manifestation began not when he learned a technique, not when he chanted a mantra, but when his old identity, the one who needed to manifest things, fell away. If you have experienced something like this, whether dramatic or subtle, know this, with every fiber of your being. You are not going crazy. You are waking up. You are being initiated into a higher order of reality. The period that follows this initial rupture can be profoundly disorienting and isolating. The old ways of being, the old coping mechanisms, the old goals, no longer work or hold any meaning. You have outgrown your previous life, but the new one has not yet solidified. This is a sacred and vulnerable time, a liminal space between worlds. It is a time to be exquisitely gentle with yourself. It is a time to seek solitude in nature, to meditate not as a practice, but as a necessity for sanity, to journal the torrent of insights and fears, to allow this new, more expansive and often frightening consciousness to integrate into the very cells of your body. This awakening, in all its messy, glorious, terrifying forms, is the ultimate preparation for cheating reality. Why? Because it reveals the fundamental ground of all being truth. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. You are the consciousness from which all reality springs. When you know this, not as an interesting intellectual concept you read in a book, but as a lived, felt, undeniable experience, the entire process of manifestation is turned inside out. It is no longer about attracting something from the outside to a deficient inside. It becomes about causing it to appear from the inside out, from the very source of your own being. Your desires are not separate from you, begging to be let in from a hostile world. They are impulses of the whole, seeking to express themselves through you. The individual locus of awareness. The awakened individual is simply the clear, purified channel through which the universe fulfills its own beautiful, creative impulses. They are not a beggar. They are a conduit. It is crucial to understand that awakening is often a process, not a single, final event. The initial crack may be dramatic, but the integration of that blinding light into every shadowy corner of your human personality is the real work of a lifetime. This is where the famed dark night of the soul may appear. As the light of your true consciousness grows brighter, it inevitably illuminates all the hidden, unhealed, and repressed aspects of your psyche, the childhood traumas, the unprocessed grief, the core wounds of unworthiness, the limiting beliefs you inherited from your culture and family. This can be a painfully confusing time. It can feel as if you are getting worse, not better. You may feel more fear, more anger, more sadness than ever before. But this is a necessary purification. You are not creating these shadows. You are simply becoming aware of them so they can be witnessed, loved, and ultimately released. This is the universe's way of scrubbing the vessel clean so it can hold a higher voltage of creative power without short-circuiting. The instant manifester who has navigated this process is not someone who has bypassed their humanity. They are someone who has integrated it fully into their awakening divinity. They are grounded, authentic, compassionate, and powerful, precisely because they have made peace with their own depths. They have embraced the full spectrum of their experience, and in doing so, they have become whole. So, if you are in the midst of this, I speak to you directly now, as one who has been in the trenches of the soul. Be patient and infinitely compassionate with yourself. You are undergoing the most important and demanding transformation of your life. This is the hero's journey, and the abyss is a required part of the map. Do not resist the process. Do not try to rush it or spiritualize it away. Surrender to the unraveling. Allow the old you to fall away, even if it feels like a death, because it is. It is the death of the illusion, the death of the separate self, and it is making way for the birth of the real. Every difficult emotion that arises, every painful memory that surfaces, every old, comfortable pattern that breaks, is part of the sacred demolition. Trust, even when you cannot feel it, that on the other side of this turmoil is a peace and a power you cannot currently imagine. You are not losing your mind. You are losing your limitations. You are not becoming unhinged from reality. You are becoming unhinged from the collective dream. And when you finally begin to stabilize in this new, vast awareness, you will look back on every moment of fear and discomfort as a necessary, brutal, and beautiful step in your liberation. You will have graduated from being a seeker of magic to being a source of it. You will no longer need to believe in God. You will know God, because you will have felt the truth of your own being. And from that unshakable place, reality becomes not something you live in, but something you lovingly, consciously, and instantly create, moment by breathtaking moment. Chapter 5. Kundalini, the serpent of creation, sleeping in your spine. Deep within the very core of your being, at the sacred base of your spine, there lies a dormant power that has been written about in ancient texts for millennia. In the mystical traditions of India and Tibet, it is pictured as a coiled serpent, sleeping in 3.5 circles around the base of the Sushumna Nadi, the central energy channel that runs along your spine. This is Kundalini Shakti. It is not merely a metaphor for potential. It is the actual, raw, unmanifested creative potential of the entire universe itself, residing within the microscopic universe of your own body. It is the divine feminine aspect of creation, the engine of instant manifestation, the very fire of life that animates all matter. For most people, it remains dormant for their entire lives, its awesome power untapped, its sublime genius unrecognized, its presence unknown. But for the one who is ready, who has purified their vessel through spiritual practice and aligned their intention with the cosmic will, this primordial energy can be awakened. It begins to uncoil, rising up the central channel of the spine like a serpent climbing a staff, activating and illuminating the energy centers, the chakras, along its sacred way. This is not a psychological concept or a beautiful idea. It is a physiological and spiritual event of the highest order that can be felt as waves of ecstatic electricity, profound heat that is not of this world, spontaneous bodily movements known as kriyas, visions of divine light, and a dissolution of the boundary between the self and the cosmos. It is the ultimate upgrade of your human operating system, a biological and spiritual initiation into your true nature as a creator God. The awakening of Kundalini represents the moment when your limited, personal will finally surrenders and merges with the infinite, divine will. It is when the cheater of reality gains access to the source code of existence itself. This energy is the living bridge between the unmanifest world of pure potential and the manifest world of tangible form. When it flows freely through you, unhindered by blockages and resistance, your thoughts, your feelings, and your visualizations are no longer just wishes sent out into a seemingly indifferent void. They become commands, infused with the very life force of creation, instantly imprinting themselves upon the malleable fabric of reality. This is why the great sages and masters of the tantric and yogic traditions were said to be able to manifest objects out of thin air, to heal with a touch, to know the past and future, and to perform what we would call miracles. They were not performing magic tricks or deceiving the gullible. They were simply demonstrating a masterful understanding of this internal technology. That is the birthright of every human being. They had become so clear, so pure, and so perfectly aligned with the cosmos that their intention, supercharged by the risen Kundalini, could instantly condense energy into matter, could bend time and space, could command reality itself to bow to their divine will. They had remembered that they were not separate from the power that creates galaxies, and so that same power moved through them, without resistance. Now, I must speak to you directly and with great seriousness about this, for this is a path of tremendous power and equally tremendous responsibility. The awakening of this primordial force is a sacred responsibility that should not be sought for worldly gain or trivial purposes. It is not a party trick to impress your friends. It must be approached with reverence, with a pure heart filled with compassion, and with a strong, grounded spiritual foundation. Trying to force a Kundalini awakening through intense, unsupervised techniques without the proper preparation of the body and mind can be likened to hooking a car battery up to a tiny flashlight. It will blow the circuits, burn out the bulb, and potentially cause a fire. The unprepared nervous system and psyche cannot handle the sheer voltage of this cosmic energy. The path is necessarily one of gradual purification. It is about conscientiously clearing the blocks in your subtle energy system, the fears, the traumas, the limiting beliefs, the samskaric impressions from countless lifetimes, so that when this mighty river of liquid light and life begins to flow, it can do so without causing psychological fragmentation or physical damage. You prepare by living with integrity, satya and ahimsa, truth and non-harm. You prepare by practicing unconditional compassion for yourself and for all other beings. You prepare through sustained meditation, through purifying breathwork, pranayama, through selfless service, karma yoga. You make your body and mind a fit temple, a worthy vessel for this sacred fire. And when it awakens, either spontaneously by divine grace or through dedicated, gradual practice, you will know beyond any shadow of a doubt. You will have direct access to a creative power that makes the old model of goal setting and grinding seem like the Stone Age. You will be operating from the command center of reality itself, and you will understand that the universe has been waiting for you to claim this power all along. To understand this process more deeply, and to dispel the fear that often surrounds it, let us follow the symbolic and very real journey of this rising energy through the sacred geography of your own being. As it uncoils and begins its majestic ascent from the Muladhara chakra at the base of the spine, it first confronts your most foundational sense of safety and survival. It brings to the surface any deep-seated primal fears: fear of death, fear of abandonment, fear of not having enough so they can be witnessed, loved, and purified in its sacred fire. As it moves to the Swadhisthana chakra, the sacral center, it engages directly with your creativity, your sexuality, your relationship with pleasure, emotion, and flow. Blocks here, often born from shame or cultural conditioning, can manifest as creative, stifling, addictive tendencies, or unhealthy attachments, and the Kundalini will illuminate them all for healing. At the Manipura chakra, the solar plexus, and the seat of your personal power, it challenges your will, your self-esteem, your ability to take action in the world, and your sense of autonomy. This is where feelings of powerlessness, unworthiness, or a need to control are often brought to the blinding light of awareness to be transmuted into authentic personal power. The journey continues its upward spiral to the Anahata chakra, the heart center, where it catalyzes a profound, often overwhelming, opening to unconditional love, compassion, and the direct experience of interconnection with all life. This can be an intensely emotional and transformative stage, where the heart cracks open and you weep for the beauty and suffering of the world. Passing through the heart, the energy rises to the Vishuddha chakra, the throat center, where it empowers your authentic voice and your ability to speak your deepest truth and to manifest your word in the world. Blocks to expression are burned away. At the Ajna chakra, the third eye, it illuminates your intuition, your inner vision, your capacity to see beyond the veil of the physical, and to perceive the subtle realms of energy and consciousness. Finally, when this serpent of fire reaches the Sahasrara chakra at the crown of the head, the thousand-petaled lotus, the individual consciousness of the drop merges with the universal consciousness of the ocean. This is the state of samadhi, of enlightenment, of non-dual union. The serpent has reached its home, and the human being has become a fully conscious co-creator, a Buddha, a Christed one. This entire process is one of the most profound alchemy possible. The base metal of your conditioned personality, with all its flaws and limitations, is being turned into the gold of your enlightened nature. The often disconcerting symptoms of Kundalini awakening, the heat, the vibrations, the visions, the spontaneous bodily movements, the emotional releases are all signs of this profound transmutation taking place at the core of your being. It is a psychic and spiritual rebirth, and from this reborn state, your ability to manifest is no longer a technique you apply. It is your nature. You do not need to get anything from an external universe. You simply recognize, from the depths of your soul, that you are the source of everything you could ever desire. The Kundalini, now fully awake and integrated, resides no longer as a coiled serpent at the base of the spine, but as a radiant, luminous presence throughout your entire being, from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. You have become a walking, talking, living manifestation of the divine, and your every thought, feeling, and intention is now backed by the full creative power of the cosmos. This is the ultimate, well-guarded secret of the instant manifester. They have not just learned a trick, they have plugged themselves into the mainframe of creation. They have awakened the goddess within, and she does their bidding because their bidding is her will. But this path demands the utmost respect. It is not a quick fix. For every story of this full awakening, there is a story of the dark night of the soul that precedes it, where the ego is systematically dismantled. The process can bring to the surface every unresolved trauma, every hidden shadow, every buried fear. This is why a foundation of stability, a practice of grounding, and often the guidance of someone who has walked the path before, is essential. The goal is not to escape the world in a blaze of spiritual euphoria, but to bring this divine energy fully into the world, to transform your daily life into a walking meditation, and to use this incredible power for the healing of yourself and the elevation of all consciousness. When you approach Kundalini with this reverence and purpose, you are not playing with fire. You are becoming it. And as fire, you have the power to warm, to illuminate, to transform, and to create worlds. This power has been sleeping within you, waiting for the alarm of your soul to finally ring. The question is, are you ready to answer the call? Chapter 6. Divine Timing is a state of being. How to exit the waiting room. You have likely heard the phrase, divine timing, whispered in spiritual circles, offered as a comforting platitude when desires are delayed. It is often used as a spiritual consolation prize, a well-meaning but ultimately disempowering way to explain why something you wanted with all your heart has not happened yet. It just wasn't the right time, we say, trying to soothe our disappointment and impatience. But this common interpretation, however kindly intended, keeps you trapped in the waiting room of life, a passive victim of a mysterious, inscrutable cosmic calendar that you cannot read and whose schedule you cannot influence. You are left pacing the floor, glancing at the clock, hoping that your number will eventually be called, all the while feeling a subtle undercurrent of powerlessness. What if I told you that this entire conception of divine timing is a profound misunderstanding? What if divine timing is not a date on a clock in God's office? It is not a future event you must wait for, a specific alignment of stars you must hope for, or a test of your patience from a withholding universe. Divine timing is a state of consciousness that you can step into right now, in this very breath. The feeling of being out of sync, of waiting for the right time, of life happening to you rather than for you, is simply a feedback mechanism, an internal GPS telling you that you are not in vibrational harmony with your desire. The instant manifester has learned the ultimate cheat code. They have learned to collapse the timeline. They have learned to bring the future fulfillment into the present moment as a felt reality. And in doing so, they use the gravitational pull of that realized future to draw the physical manifestation into their now. Think of all of reality as a vast, multidimensional, choose-your-own-adventure movie that has already been filmed in its entirety. Every possible outcome, every version of you, every scenario exists simultaneously in the great library of the quantum field. Most people are sitting in the audience, watching the screen, waiting for the scene where they get the job, find the soulmate, or achieve the goal to passively unfold. They are separate from the action, hoping and praying that the director, the universe, will be kind to them, and that the plot will unfold in their favor. They are at the mercy of the story. The master manifester, the one who cheats reality, is the one who gets up out of their seat, walks right up to the screen, and steps into the movie. They are no longer waiting for the scene to happen. They are living it. They are generating the sensory experience, the emotional texture, and the core identity of the wish fulfilled from the inside out. And from that vantage point, from within the reality of the fulfillment, the physical, third-dimensional world has no choice but to rearrange itself, to shift its props and actors, to match the reality they are now so convincingly and consistently inhabiting. This is the true, esoteric secret to divine timing. It is not about waiting for the universe to deliver the package to your door. It is about you delivering the state of being, the full, embodied frequency of the outcome to the universe. And the universe, being your perfectly faithful and literal mirror, having no option but to reflect it back to you instantly, in tangible form. The delay was never in the universe's delivery service. It was in your ability to fully accept and inhabit the package as if it had already arrived. Feel what it feels like in your body. Feel the deep, quiet, unshakable satisfaction that comes after the initial excitement has faded. Feel the security, the visceral joy, the profound peace that comes with its fulfillment. Let that feeling wash over you like a warm, golden wave. Saturate your every cell with this vibration. This is not a game of pretend or childish fantasy. This is the most powerful creative act you can ever perform. You are, in this very moment, generating the precise frequency of your desire fulfilled. You are stepping into the movie of your chosen reality. When you open your eyes, do not let that feeling go. Do not drop the character. Carry it with you as you go about your day. Let it be your inner truth, your non-negotiable reality. From this place, the how and the when are not your concern. Your only job, your sole spiritual practice, is to maintain the frequency. The universe, in its infinite intelligence and with its limitless resources, will handle all the logistics. It will orchestrate the chance meetings, arrange the lucky breaks, dissolve the obstacles, and deliver the manifestation in the perfect and often most surprising and elegant way. You have just exited the waiting room. You are now living in divine time, which is always and only ever now. The most common and logical objection to this is, but if I feel like I already have it, won't I lose my motivation to achieve it? Won't I just sit on the couch and do nothing? This question arises directly from the old paradigm of lack, from the Newtonian model of cause and effect. In the old model, your desire is a separate object over there, and you are a separate person over here, in a state of lack. And you need to struggle, strive, and force your way across the gap to bridge the distance. Your motivation in this model is fueled by the pain of not having it, but this is a low-frequency fuel that creates more resistance, anxiety, and desperation, all vibrations that repel your desire. In the new model, the quantum model of the instant manifester, your motivation is not born from lack, but from inspired expression. It is the joy of expressing who you are in your fulfilled state. Let us say your desire is to be a best-selling author. If you wait to feel like an author until the book is physically in stores and your name is on a list, you are firmly in the waiting room, and your writing will likely feel like a chore, filled with doubt. But if you step into the state of being an author now, feeling the creativity, the discipline, the quiet confidence, the satisfaction of sharing your message with the world, you will be inspired to write. You will write not from a place of, I hope this works, but from a place of, I am an author. And this is what authors do. The action is then aligned, effortless, and magnetic. It pulls the physical book, the perfect publisher, and the bestseller list into your reality with astonishing speed, because the energy behind the action is one of fulfillment, not lack. This understanding completely and utterly transforms your relationship with time itself. Linear time, past, present, future, is a construct of the three-dimensional, reasoning mind. It is a useful illusion for navigating the physical world, but it is not the ultimate reality. In higher dimensions of consciousness, all time is now. The future is not a blank slate waiting to be written. It is a vast field of probabilities, all existing in the present. Your current state of being is like a tractor beam, pulling a specific probability from the infinite field of the future into your present moment experience. When you live persistently in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are activating the tractor beam for that specific timeline. You are not waiting for time to pass. You are commanding a different version of now to manifest. You are switching tracks on the railway of your life. This is the precise, mechanical way that lucky people cheat reality. They are not bound by the slow, linear, plodding progression of cause and effect as the world understands it. They have learned to operate from the level of cause, which is always in the eternal now, and they simply watch, with amused detachment, as the effects instantly and miraculously reorganize in the world of form. So, I ask you again, from this moment forward, make a conscious decision. Refuse to wait. Choose your desired state. Embody it. Breathe it. Speak it. Be it. And watch, in a state of wonder, as the universe scrambles to catch up with the new, powerful, and already fulfilled version of you that has just taken the stage. The time is now. Not because a clock says so, but because you are the one who defines what now is. You are the master of time, not its servant. Chapter 7. The Manifestation Miracle. Beyond Thought, into Embodiment. The law of attraction has swept through modern spirituality, popularizing a powerful but incomplete idea that your thoughts create your reality. This is a monumental first step, a waking up from the profound slumber of believing you are a victim of external circumstances. But it is only the very beginning of the journey, the first glimpse of the mountain peak from a great distance. Thought is the blueprint. It is the architect's drawing, elegant and full of potential. But a blueprint does not build a house. It cannot provide shelter from the storm, to manifest instantly. To move from the theoretical to the tangible with breathtaking speed, you must move beyond the realm of thought and into the domain of embodiment. You must cease to be the architect and become the builder, the inhabitant, the very substance of the house itself. You must become the person for whom your desire is already a lived, breathing, felt reality. This is a whole body, whole being experience. It involves your emotions, your senses, your beliefs, your posture, your energy, and even the very chemistry and neural pathways of your body. The lucky person is not just thinking lucky thoughts. They are feeling lucky in their bones, moving through the world with the gait and grace of a lucky person, speaking with the tone and conviction of a lucky person, and making decisions from the mindset of someone for whom everything always works out. Their entire energetic signature, from the subtlest vibration to the most obvious action, is a perfect, harmonious match to the reality they wish to inhabit. Let us take the universal example of wealth, for it highlights this distinction with perfect clarity. Many people try to manifest wealth by repeating affirmations like, "I am abundant," or "money flows to me easily," while simultaneously feeling the cold knot of anxiety in their stomach when they check their bank account. They are conducting a civil war inside themselves. The conscious mind is shouting one thing, but the deeper, more powerful, emotional and sensory body, the subconscious, is screaming another, more visceral truth. The universe, being a precise and literal mirror, always responds to the dominant vibration, which is invariably the one rooted in your true, embodied feeling state, not your superficial, intellectual thoughts. The instant manifester knows this secret intimately. They do not just affirm, "I am abundant." They immerse every one of their senses in the lived experience of abundance. They feel the weight and texture of high-quality linen against their skin. They savor the complex, exquisite taste of a beautifully prepared meal, eating it with the relaxed pace of someone who knows there is always more. They walk through a beautiful public park and feel the richness of the experience, as if they owned it all, because in the realm of consciousness where creation happens, they do. They generate the feeling of wealth, the security, the freedom, the generosity, the ease until it becomes their default state, their emotional home. From that state, money is not the source of their abundance. It is a natural, inevitable byproduct of it. It is the physical echo of an internal condition that has already been fulfilled. This, then, must become your new and primary practice. For any desire, you must learn to ask yourself the most crucial question you will ever consider. Who would I be if I already had this? This is not about what you would do. It is about who you would become. How would you walk? Would your shoulders be more relaxed? Your spine straighter? Your stride more confident? How would you talk? Would your voice be slower, more resonant, carrying an unshakable certainty? How would you treat yourself? With more compassion, more respect, more kindness? How would you treat others? With more generosity, more patience? Because your own cup is so full it overflows? What would you believe about the world? That it is a friendly, supportive place? What would you do with your time? How would you fill your hours from a place of inspired choice, not desperate necessity? And then, starting right now, in this very moment, you must begin to act as that person. Embody that state. Do not do this as a performance for the outside world, to convince others of your new status. Do it for you. Do it to convince the deepest, most powerful part of yourself, your subconscious mind, and your body, of this new truth. When you wake up in the morning, be that person from the moment your eyes open. When you go to the grocery store, walk the aisles as that person. When you face a challenge, face it as that person would, with their resources, their mindset, their calm center. This is not about faking it till you make it. That phrase implies a fundamental dishonesty. This is about becoming it until you are it. You are rehearsing for a reality that is already on its way to you, learning your lines and getting into character so that when the curtain rises on your new life, you are ready to claim it fully. And as you consistently embody this new version of yourself, you will notice a subtle, then dramatic shift in your reality. Opportunities that were invisible to you before will suddenly appear in stark relief. People will respond to you differently, mirroring back the new energy you are projecting. The world will have no choice but to reflect back to you the person you have decided to become. The physical manifestation is simply the final, logical, and inevitable confirmation of a transformation that has already taken place within you. The immense power of embodiment lies in its ability to bypass the critical, skeptical, and analytical faculty of the conscious mind, the gatekeeper that often rejects affirmations as untrue because they conflict with current evidence. When you embody a state, you are not just telling yourself a new story. You are giving your entire nervous system a new experience. You are creating new neural pathways, signaling to your primal brain and your body. This is our reality now. The body, which lives very much in the present moment and does not understand future tense or abstract concepts, believes what it experiences. If you walk with a posture of confidence, chest open, shoulders back, head held high, your body registers that muscular and skeletal alignment as confidence and begins to release the corresponding neurochemicals, like testosterone and dopamine, that actually make you feel more confident. If you speak with a slow, measured tone of authority, your body accepts that vocal vibration as your truth and adjusts your entire physiology to match. This mind-body union creates a coherent, powerful, and undeniably authentic signal that the universe cannot ignore. It is a signal of such integrity and power that it must manifest as form. It is the difference between sending a timid email to the universe and showing up at its doorstep, fully formed and undeniable. Let us explore a profound embodiment exercise for a common and deeply felt desire: vibrant, radiant health. Do not just think, "I am healthy." That is the blueprint. You must build the house. Embody it. Upon waking, stretch your body not with the groaning reluctance of someone battling fatigue, but with the pleasure, flexibility, and feline grace of a truly healthy person, feeling the delicious pull of muscle and sinew. When you eat, do not just consume calories. Choose foods that make you feel vibrant, light, and alive, savoring each bite as a healthy person would, with gratitude for the energy it provides. Walk with the energy and spring in your step of someone full of vitality, feeling the connection with the earth, the air filling your lungs. Breathe deeply, not as an exercise, but as a healthy being naturally does, filling your lungs with the prana, the life force that sustains you. When a doubt about your health arises, a twinge, a pain, a fearful thought, do not fight it with the opposing thought. That is civil war. Shift it with a bodily action. Immediately stand up straighter. Put a genuine smile on your face, even if you have to force it at first, because the act of smiling tells your brain that all is well. Take a powerful, deep breath into your belly. You are using the body, the instrument of your reality, to dictate the truth to the mind, instead of the other way around. This is a profound reversal of the usual world order. You are working from the outside in and the inside out simultaneously, creating a self-reinforcing feedback loop of proof that solidifies the new state. This is the alchemy of instant manifestation. You are not waiting for the proof to feel the feeling. You are using the feeling, generated through embodied action, to create the proof. This is the master key that has been used by the greatest manifestors, healers, and sages in history. They did not hope and pray from a distance. They stepped into the skin, the breath, and the life of the person who had already received, and the universe, being a perfect mime, had no choice but to agree with their profound and embodied conviction. This is your path now. Stop thinking your reality into being. Start living it into existence. Chapter 8. The Synchronicity Engine. How to turn coincidence into confirmation. Let us talk about the language of the gods. It is not a language of words or grammar, but a syntax of events, a poetry of timing, a whispered conversation written in the ink of everyday life. This language is called synchronicity, a term gifted to us by the profound mind of Carl Jung, who defined it as a causal connecting principle, a meaningful coincidence that defies the standard logic of cause and effect. For the person who is learning to cheat reality, synchronicity is far more than a curious psychological phenomenon or a pleasant surprise. It is the humming engine of their navigation system. It is the illuminated dashboard on the vehicle of their life, showing them they are on the right road, gently suggesting turns, and alerting them to the beautiful scenery and potential roadblocks ahead. When you are in deep alignment with your true path, when your inner state is a clear, coherent signal, synchronicities will multiply around you, like fireflies on a summer night. They will become a constant, reassuring, and even playful presence in your life, confirming your every intuitive nudge and guiding your every significant move. The world will cease to feel random, cold, and mechanical, and will begin to feel like a perfectly orchestrated symphony composed just for you, and you are both the conductor who influences the score and the honored guest who gets to experience its beauty. How does one activate this synchronicity engine? It begins with two fundamental practices: intention and attention. You must first set a clear, heartfelt intention for your life. What is the quality of experience you wish to have? What is your soul's deepest purpose in this incarnation? Is it to express love? To create beauty? To experience freedom? To teach? To heal? When you hold a clear intention, you are like a lighthouse, broadcasting a specific frequency into the cosmic field. You are sending out a homing signal. The field, being intelligent and responsive, then begins to arrange circumstances and send you symbols, people, and opportunities that are resonant with that frequency. It is the universe's way of saying, I hear you. Here is your next clue. Follow this. This is where attention comes in. You must become a master of noticing, a connoisseur of the subtle. Most people walk through their days in a state of mental distraction, lost in the cacophony of their own thoughts, worries, and to-do lists, completely oblivious to the signs and symbols the universe is placing directly in their path. The master manifester cultivates a quiet mind and a wide-awake, receptive awareness. They are present. They are curious. They see the world with the fresh, wondering eyes of a child. And because of this, they see the magic that others miss. They notice the specific bird that lands on their windowsill at the exact moment they ask a question. They hear the perfect sentence from a stranger's conversation as they walk past. They see the recurring number pattern on a license plate just as they are making a decision. Let me give you a practical, powerful tool to begin this week. For the next 7 days, I want you to play a game with the universe. It is a game of cosmic hide and seek. Each morning, when you wake up, set a simple, playful intention. Sit for a moment in the silence of the dawn and say, either out loud or in your mind, Universe, Spirit, Higher Self, show me a clear confirmation today that I am on the right path. Show me something related to, choose a specific symbol, like a hawk, a specific number sequence like 222, or a word like grace, and then go about your day. Do not actively, anxiously hunt for it. Do not stare at the clock waiting for 2:22 p.m. That is the energy of lack and desperation. Just hold the intention lightly, with a sense of fun, excitement, and absolute expectation. As if you've asked a dear friend to send you a postcard, and you know, without a doubt, that it will arrive. You will be astonished. You will see that symbol everywhere. It will appear in an advertisement on a bus, in the title of a book someone is reading in a cafe, in a song on the radio, on a license plate in front of you in traffic. Each and every time you see it, acknowledge it. Do not let it pass by, unremarked. Silently or aloud, say, thank you. Feel the gratitude and the connection. This simple practice does two monumentally powerful things. First, it trains your brain, your reticular activating system, to notice the patterns that have been there all along. You are programming your own filter for reality. Second, and more importantly, it strengthens your relationship with the intelligent universe. It builds trust. It turns a theoretical, philosophical concept into a lived, experiential reality. Soon, you will not need to ask for signs. You will live in a continuous, flowing stream of them. A constant, loving conversation with a reality that is actively, joyfully, and intelligently conspiring to support you in every single moment. To deepen our mastery, we must understand that synchronicity is a two-way street, a dynamic feedback loop. It is not just the universe talking to you. It is you talking back. Your recognition and acknowledgement of the sign is a crucial part of completing the circuit. It is like saying, Roger that. Message received and understood, to air traffic control. This completion of the loop encourages the universe to send more and more complex communications. It is a collaborative dance between your consciousness and the consciousness of the cosmos. Furthermore, acting on synchronicity is the ultimate expression of faith and the very mechanism of manifestation. When you get a nudge to turn down a certain street and you follow it, only to run into an old friend who offers you a life-changing opportunity, you are demonstrating your trust in the process. This action, this leap of faith based on an intuitive whisper, is what often leads to the most monumental manifestations and life-altering meetings. It is the universe working through you, with you as a willing and conscious participant. There is also a beautiful, self-reinforcing loop at play here, a virtuous cycle of magic. The more synchronicities you notice, the more magical, benevolent, and intelligent the world feels. This elevated emotional state of wonder, awe, and gratitude is a very high vibration frequency. This high vibration, in turn, makes you even more magnetic to synchronistic events. You become a synchronicity magnet. Your life becomes a living work of art, where every element is meaningfully connected, where every person you meet is a potential teacher or ally, and where every event is a piece of a divine puzzle. The old paradigm of a cold, mechanical, random universe is utterly and completely shattered and replaced with the glorious, humbling, and exhilarating truth. You are in a constant, loving, and intelligent relationship with all of creation. The Synchronicity Engine is not just a tool for getting what you want. It is the living evidence that you are never, ever alone. You are always being guided, always being spoken to, always being loved. All you had to do was learn to listen, to see, and to trust the conversation. And now, you are fluent. Chapter 9. The Shadow and the Light. Why you can't cheat reality until you embrace all of you. There is a profound and often violently avoided secret to instant manifestation, one that most of the think positive and high vibe literature conveniently glosses over or completely ignores. You cannot truly own your power. You cannot consistently command reality until you are willing to own all of yourself. This includes the parts you have been taught to hide, to deny, to be ashamed of, to disown. Your shadow, coined by Carl Jung. Your shadow is the vast, hidden repository within your psyche for every trait, every emotion, every impulse, and every desire that your family, and your culture have deemed unacceptable, unspiritual, or ugly. Your rage, your jealousy, your pettiness, your greed, your laziness, your manipulative tendencies, your primal fears, your unbridled sensuality. By disowning these parts of yourself, by locking them in the basement of your soul, and pretending they do not exist, you do not make them disappear. You merely relegate them to the autonomous, unconscious realm, where they operate like rogue agents, sabotaging your best efforts, creating the very circumstances you are trying to avoid, and projecting themselves onto the people around you. The chronically unlucky person is often at a silent, brutal war with their own shadow, projecting its contents onto the world, and then blaming the world for their misfortune. The instant manifestor understands a radical and liberating truth. Your shadow is not your enemy. It is not evil. Instant. It is concentrated, untamed life force that has been nurtured, shamed, and forced into hiding. It is unintegrated power. When you find the courage to turn toward your shadow, to stop running, and to bring the warm, non-judgmental light of your loving awareness to these disowned parts, a miracle occurs. The vast amount of psychic energy that was once used to suppress them, to keep them locked away, is freed up. This is like liberating a standing army that was guarding a prisoner who was never really a threat. This energy now becomes available for creation. The shadow, once integrated, becomes a source of immense power, authenticity, and deep creativity. A person who has integrated their anger develops powerful, impenetrable boundaries and the ability to say a fierce no that protects their energy. A person who has integrated their greed develops a deep understanding of their true value and can command abundance without shame. A person who has integrated their fear gains access to profound courage, for they have walked through the darkness within and know they can survive it. This is not a dark path. It is a path of ultimate wholeness. You cannot cheat a reality that you are only partially willing to acknowledge. The universe will always, always reflect back to your entire self, both the light you proudly claim and the shadow you desperately deny. Your hidden judgments will manifest as critical people. Your repressed greed will manifest as financial lack. Your disowned anger will manifest as passive-aggressive attacks from others. The world is your mirror, and it does not lie. So, how do you do this daunting, essential work? It requires brutal, unflinching honesty and deep, unconditional self-compassion. Find a quiet, safe moment with yourself, perhaps with a journal. Light a candle if it feels right. This is sacred work. Then, ask yourself with gentle curiosity, what parts of myself do I not want anyone to ever see? What feelings do I immediately suppress when they arise? What traits do I most quickly and harshly criticize in other people? This last question is a master key. The very things that irritate, enrage, or disgust you most about other people are often brilliant clues to your own disowned shadow. That colleague you find insufferably arrogant, he may be mirroring your own disowned need to be seen and validated. That friend you judge for being lazy, she may be reflecting your own repressed desire to rest and reject the cult of productivity. When you identify a shadow aspect, let's say, a deep-seated jealousy, do not judge it. Do not try to spiritually bypass it by saying, "I am love and light, I am not jealous." That is just another form of suppression. Instead, simply observe it. Welcome it. Say to yourself, "This too is a part of me. I welcome this jealousy. I see you. I feel you. Thank you for showing me a part of myself that needs my love." You do not have to act out the jealousy. You are simply reclaiming the energy, bringing the exiled part of you home. As you do this, you will feel a sense of profound relief, a sense of inner cohesion and solidity. You will become more real, more grounded, more powerfully authentic. Your manifestations will then come from a place of wholeness, not from a fractured, incomplete self, trying to use positive thinking as a bandage to cover up its own festering darkness. You will be a complete electrical circuit, and the power of the universe will flow through you without resistance or leakage. This is the final and most profound preparation for becoming a true master of your reality. The process of shadow work can be illustrated through a powerful metaphor. Imagine your conscious self is a beautiful, well-kept, brightly lit house. You keep everything clean and presentable for guests. The shadow is the messy, cluttered, dark basement you never go into. You keep the door locked, but you can sometimes hear strange, frightening noises coming from down there. Occasionally, a rat, a sudden, inexplicable outburst of rage, a self-sabotaging behavior, a cruel projection onto a loved one will find its way up into your pristine living room, terrifying you and messing up your clean space. The common, unconscious approach is to try to kill the rat and nail the basement door shut even tighter. This is suppression. It never works. The rats always find a way back. The shadow work approach, the path of the warrior, is to finally, courageously, take a flashlight and go down into the basement. You turn on the light. You look at the mess, the old boxes of childhood trauma, the bags of repressed anger, the cobwebs of shame. You do not judge it. You simply see it for what it is. You start to clean it up, to organize it. You reclaim the valuable things that were stored down there. The raw power of your anger, the life force of your sexuality, the primal wisdom of your fear, and you discard what is truly trash. Once the basement is clean, integrated, and well lit, it becomes a usable, valuable part of your house. It no longer leaks problems into your living space. Your entire home is now larger, more functional, and more secure. This is integration. You have reclaimed your wholeness. This is why manifestations often fail, why the law of attraction seems to work only sporadically for so many. A person may try with all their conscious might to manifest a loving, committed relationship while secretly believing, in their shadow, that they are fundamentally unlovable or that intimacy is dangerous. They may try to manifest abundance while harboring a deep, hidden belief that they are unworthy or that money is corrupt. The universe, being literal, must reflect both the conscious intention and the stronger, unconscious shadow belief. The result is a stalemate, a manifestation that never arrives, or one that quickly falls apart. Mysteriously, confirming the deeper, shadowy belief. The instant manifester has done the deep, uncomfortable work. They have shined the light into every dark corner. They have made peace with their darkness, understanding that it is not evil. Chapter 10. The Lucky Life. Living as a conscious co-creator of your universe. This is the final chapter, but it is not an ending. It is a beginning. It is your beginning. You now stand at the precipice of a new life, armed not with weapons, but with knowledge. You hold the understanding that what you once called luck is a skill that can be honed. What you once dismissed as coincidence is a constant, loving conversation. What you once perceived as a solid, immovable reality is a malleable, responsive substance, shaped by the quality of your own consciousness. You are no longer a passive passenger on a journey you cannot control, tossed about by the storms of fate. You are the navigator. You are the co-pilot. You are, in the most real and literal sense, a conscious co-creator of your universe. The lucky life is not a life where bad things never happen. That is a fantasy of spiritual immaturity. It is a life where every event, every encounter, every challenge, and every triumph is seen as part of the sacred curriculum of your soul's expansion. It is a life lived in a constant, dynamic, and joyful dance with the divine, where you lead sometimes, and you follow at others, but you are always, always in the dance. The man who walks down the busy street and sees the undeniable sign is you. The woman who receives the direct, unambiguous answer to her prayer is you. The person who feels the rising Kundalini fire transforming them from the inside out is you. The one who steps out of the waiting room of time and into the eternal now of divine timing is you. These are not special people, chosen by the gods for a favor you were denied. They are people who remembered. They are people who, in a moment of grace or desperation, chose to believe in a more magical, more benevolent, and more intelligent reality than the one presented by the consensus trance, and then had the raw courage to live as if it were true. And in doing so, through the very act of their faith and their embodiment, they made it true for themselves. This is the ultimate cheat. You are not breaking the rules of a dead, mechanical universe. You are simply playing by the true rules of a living, conscious, and responsive one that was waiting for you to wake up and join the game. So, what do you do now? You live. But you live differently. You live with intention, setting the course of your life with the clarity of a captain, charting a course across the stars. You live with awareness, paying attention to the subtle whispers, the symbolic language, the gentle nudges of the cosmos. You live with trust, a deep, somatic knowing that you are supported even when the path is dark. You practice the embodiment of your desires, wearing your future self like a garment until it becomes your skin. You engage in the constant conversation with the universe, asking questions and listening for the answers in the wind, in dreams, in the eyes of a stranger. You welcome all of yourself, light and shadow, understanding that wholeness is the source of all true power. You do the inner work, not as a chore, but as the most important investment you will ever make. And as you do, you will find a beautiful thing beginning to happen. The need to manifest specific things will slowly begin to fall away. You will become less focused on the objects, the specific car, the specific dollar amount, the specific partner, and more in love with the state of freedom, of abundance, of love. You will be in love with the sheer experience of being alive, of being a conscious creator in a universe of infinite possibility. And from that state, all that you could ever need or desire will flow to you naturally, effortlessly, and instantly, not because you strained for it, but because it is the natural expression of who you have become. You are no longer seeking luck. You have become luck. You are no longer trying to reach your destination. You have understood that the journey itself, this glorious, mysterious, ever-unfolding journey of awakening and creation, is the destination. The lucky life is a life of profound responsibility and even more profound freedom. You understand that you are the author of your story. When a challenging chapter appears, you no longer see yourself as a helpless victim of a cruel and random author, but as the writer who has introduced a conflict to facilitate growth, to develop character, to make the eventual resolution all the more sweet and meaningful. You engage with life from a place of curiosity rather than fear. You understand that the universe is your ultimate partner, and even the storms are there to clear the air, to water the seeds of your future joy, and to show you a strength you never knew you possessed. This perspective is the greatest gift of this entire journey. It is the peace that passes all understanding. It is the joy that is unshakable, because it is not dependent on external conditions, but flows from the internal, non-negotiable knowing of who you are and what you are capable of. You are a miracle. You are a walking, talking manifestation of the divine. You have always had the power to cheat reality. You were simply waiting for your own permission to begin. That permission is now granted. The training is complete. The initiation is over. The rest of your life, your truly lucky, magical, co-creative life, begins now. Speak your word into the silence. Feel the universe lean in to listen. And then, watch in astonishment as it bends over backwards to make your word its command. This is why some people manifest instantly. And now, you are one of them. Go and live your lucky life. The universe is waiting to see what you will do with your power. It is rooting for you. It always has been.